Hi, I'm Tamra Davison. Welcome back to my kitchen. It's fall, my favorite season, and I'm going to start by making a dessert called Spiced Apple Cider Pudding. So the first thing we need to do is turn our stove on and melt the butter. So I'm going to put that in. And then I'll turn my oven on to 350 and let it preheat. I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the best baking apples. Truth be told, you can almost use any apple for baking. About the only ones I don't like are Red Delicious and Royal Gala, but these are my favorite apples for baking. My favorite eating apple, but our customer favorite is definitely Honeycrisp. We sell that 2-to-1 to any other variety. Mutsu is another wonderful baking apple, also great for applesauce. And Golden Delicious is a very good cooking apple as well. We actually make the applesauce that we sell at the farm out of Golden Delicious, and also it's very low acid, so it's great for people that have stomach issues or for baby food, just because it's so has very little acid in it. So these are my favorite baking apples, and like I said earlier, there's many more. Arlette's another good one. And if you want to learn a little bit more about apples, we have this brochure that we give out at the farm. So next time you're up at the farm, you might want to pick one up. It goes through all the different varieties that we grow and what they're good for and their approximate harvest dates. You can also check out our website and follow the link to our apple encyclopedia. So we have all kinds of more information about the different apples we grow on our website. So looks like my butter is melted nicely. Add a half a cup of brown sugar. And the brown sugar just kind of gives it a nice caramelized flavor. 1.5 cups of apple cider, 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Stir that up, bring it to a boil, and then let it boil for about 5 minutes. All right, now that we've got our cider sauce on the stove, we'll just let that come to a boil, and then, like I mentioned, boil it for 5 minutes. I'm going to make the pudding part of this dessert. So it takes 1.5 cups of sliced apple, and that's usually about 1 medium-sized apple. So I'm going to use this Honeycrisp apple. It's a very good apple for baking. Or if you have one of these handy gadgets, it's nice because it actually makes the apples into very thin slices. So it spirals the apple and makes it very thin. So then I just go through and cut it like this. And then I have very thin slices. One medium-sized apple should give you about 1.5 cups. It's a little more than a cup and a half, but that'll be just about right. Let it simmer for a few more minutes and move on to the pudding. So the pudding takes 2 tablespoons of butter, which I have here, and 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And you beat that together. Adding a teaspoon of vanilla. So we need a cup of flour. We need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Half a teaspoon of salt. And then you just mix that together very well, so that you're mixing in the baking powder and the salt. And now comes the messy part. So you need 1/2 cup of milk and your dry ingredients, and you mix that into your flour and sugar. A little more milk. The last of my flour. When I add the apples and the 1/2 cup of raisins, you're not going to believe what this batter looks like. It's very stiff. Yeah, you can see that nice caramel dark color. smells delicious too. All right, so you can see this batter is quite thick. I'll just scrape the sides a bit. And I'm going to add my 1.5 cups of apples and my 1/2 cup of raisins. And raisins are optional. I really think they add to it, but if you don't like raisins, you certainly don't have to add them. And it's a little bit of a job to mix it together because there is so many apples in here. So you'll want to spray your glass dish. Doesn't necessarily have to be a glass dish, but it should be 8 by 8. This one's not quite 8 by 8, but it's a little bit deeper so it works well. So basically you pour your apple mixture in there, spread it as evenly as you can on the bottom of your dish, and then you add your cider sauce. And you basically just pour the cider sauce, even though it's super hot, right over top of your pudding. Our oven is preheated to 350. Pop this in and bake it for 40 to 50 minutes. So it's been baking for 50 minutes or so, so I'm pretty sure it'll be ready by now. There it is. You can see the juice bubbling around the sides, and if I touch it, it's firm, so we know it's ready. And that's how you make spiced apple cider pudding. If you found this video helpful, press the like button and subscribe for more videos.